We all go through intense emotions from time to time, you know? Life isn't always smooth sailing for anyone, so it's easy to feel overwhelmed with negative feelings. And the truth is that a surprising number of people struggle with this. They have a hard time keeping their emotions in check, especially when things get stressful and uncertain. That's why, when things don't go their way, they often find themselves swamped by intense emotions. You know, feelings like anger or distress, which can lead to small conflicts. And those conflicts can quickly escalate into damaging situations. So, what do we really mean by all this? Imagine a scenario where two people are having a conversation about politics. It's a topic they both feel strongly about. But as one person starts sharing their viewpoints, the other person starts getting more and more agitated. And the longer the person talks, the angrier they become. Next thing you know, they're raising their voice. Even worse, they start using derogatory remarks towards the other person, insisting that their beliefs are completely wrong. What started as a friendly exchange quickly turned into a heated argument, with plenty of name-calling, swearing, and personal attacks. And by the time the agitated person realizes what they've done, it's too late. The other person has already been hurt. Why do you think things like this happen? Well, it's because not everyone can effectively manage their emotions. When they hear something they don't like, you see them react impulsively, as if a wave of frustration and volatility quickly washed over them. They may even get defensive, taking any opposition they hear as a personal insult. And sometimes they get angry because they either feel like their ideas aren't being validated or they struggle to express their thoughts accurately. Once these negative emotions start swirling in their minds, they tend to make poor decisions. Even worse, they become desperate to enforce their perspective, often causing damage to their relationships and hurting those they care about. It's only after everything settles down that they realize the extent of the damage they've caused by letting their emotions take over. If you get into a situation where your emotions are put to the test, how can you prevent them from spiraling out of control? That's what we'll be talking about in this video. We'll share some tips on how you can master your emotions instead of letting them control you. Let's begin. Number 1. Identify what causes your resentment. Many of us have a tendency to dwell on feelings of anger or resentment, you know? Think about it. When you argue with a friend, for instance, chances are both of you will just walk away while feeling hurt and annoyed. But instead of expressing these emotions and seeking a resolution, you may end up letting your anger simmer. You just let it grow within you instead of addressing the conflict you have with your friend. And as time passes, you might even forget the initial cause of your anger, but you know you still feel angry with your friend. Well, guess what? The longer you postpone addressing these feelings, the more difficult it becomes to overcome them. And this holds true for other negative emotions. Ignoring these emotions can lead to prolonged emotional distress that can suddenly flare up. So, it's important to speak up. Try to resolve your feelings before it becomes too late. Number 2. Instead of bottling your emotions, find a way to express them. A lot of people struggle with managing their emotions because they hold back their true feelings. It's especially common among men, who tend to hide their emotions until they explode uncontrollably. And you know what? That can really hurt both themselves and the people around them. To avoid this, it's important to not let your emotions be bottled up. Instead, actively look for ways to express your emotions regularly. You can write in a journal, talk to someone you trust, or even seek help from a mental health professional. Just make self-expression a natural part of your routine. Number 3. Practice empathy. When you find yourself upset with someone, take a moment to consider their perspective. While it may seem like you have been treated unfairly, it's possible that the other person feels the same way. They might be facing challenges, which is why they react that way. Or they may be struggling to understand their own emotions, just like you. By practicing empathy, you can temper the intense feelings you have and establish common ground. This not only benefits you when you're upset, but also enhances your emotional intelligence. Cultivating empathy encourages self-reflection, challenges assumptions, and allows you to approach every situation with a composed and balanced mindset. Number 4. Focus on a mantra. Having a simple mantra or a meaningful phrase can really help when you're feeling frustrated or upset. You won't believe how just a few words can change your perspective and give you the strength to overcome those negative emotions. Finding your unique mantra might take some time, but it's worth it. Just know that the most powerful mantras are those you create for yourself. Repeating that special phrase a few times can instantly relieve stress, bring clarity, and remind you of what's important to you. Sometimes, it's hard to see the bigger picture when you're caught up in the moment, but focusing on what truly matters is the key to staying in control. Number 5. Do a countdown. Did you know that when we're feeling intense emotions, our brain gets flooded with all sorts of chemicals? These cause us to react in extreme and impulsive ways. But here's the thing. If we want to regain control over our emotions, it's crucial to let those chemicals settle down before we take any action. One simple yet effective technique is to just close your eyes and slowly count to 5. It may sound too easy, but within those few seconds, all that chemical activity in our brain starts to calm down, giving us a much clearer perspective on the situation we're facing. Taking those brief moments to pause can save us from making impulsive decisions that we'll regret for years to come. Number 6. Identify what you're feeling. Sometimes it can be tough to handle our emotions because we're not sure what we're really feeling. It's like we have this jumble of thoughts and emotions, and it leaves us feeling confused and frustrated. So, we just want quick relief. In situations like this, identifying what you're feeling can help. When you feel a certain emotion building up in you, take a moment to ask yourself, what am I really feeling? Is it anger or something else? Giving a name to your emotions makes them easier to handle and understand. Number 7. Own your emotions. A lot of people tend to hide their true emotions because they feel embarrassed or ashamed for feeling them. And when someone asks how they're feeling, they usually pretend to be okay. They'd rather keep their true emotions hidden. But you know what? This only makes things worse. It's really important to acknowledge your emotions when you're feeling overwhelmed, for instance. Know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with how you truly feel. Number 8. Do some breath work. It's fascinating how our breath can have such a profound impact on our emotional state. Let us explain why. Inhaling directly affects our sympathetic nervous system, which controls our fight-or-flight response. So taking a deep breath helps us avoid impulsive behavior and allows us to make more logical decisions. On the other hand, exhaling activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us relax and find calmness. So, just by exhaling, we can pacify negative emotions and feel a sense of control and tranquility. So, the next time your emotions start to spiral, do some breath work. This simple exercise can quickly transform your state of mind. Number 9. Know your boiling point. Even if you're really good at controlling your emotions, there might still be moments when things get too intense. Some people call it the boiling point. This is the point where your emotions start to bubble up and you feel like you might explode. To really manage your feelings, it's important to know when you're reaching that boiling point. Then, when you're on the edge, just step back from the situation and give yourself some time to calm down. This way, you can make sure you don't say or do something you'll regret. Number 10. Express what you feel through different activities. Expressing your emotions isn't just about talking or writing about them. You can also let it all out through activities like sports or art. These activities require your focus and allow you to channel your emotions, helping you feel calm and be clear-headed. So, when you're dealing with a stressful situation, why not try singing your heart out, for example? There are plenty of activities that can help you channel your feelings. Number 11. Practice stress management. Stress really takes a toll on our emotional well-being, you know? When we're stressed out, it's like our patience and self-discipline just vanish into thin air. Sometimes, it even feels like everything is falling apart around us. That's why even the smallest things can trigger intense emotional outbursts and lead us to make irrational decisions. Let's face it, any kind of stress can really mess with our emotions. That's why it's so important to find ways to relieve stress every day. There are so many activities you can try, like practicing meditation, writing, or even just getting some exercise. By making these practices a regular part of your routine, you can reduce your stress levels and ultimately gain better control over your emotions. Number 12. Look into the root of the problem. When you feel intense emotions bubbling up inside you, Take a moment to really dig deep into what's causing them. Ask yourself why you're feeling the way you are. If someone's comment makes you instantly angry, for instance, stop and think about why their words had such a strong impact on you. This practice can change your perspective and make you step back to look at your emotions objectively. It helps you uncover the real reason behind your distress. See, a lot of times, the root of a feeling isn't what it seems at first. Then, once you figure it out, you can address the issue without hurting yourself or others. Here are 2 more videos you may find interesting. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share the video with your friends. And for more interesting videos like this, subscribe to the channel.